Hello, I am Biju Vishwanath. I'm a psychiatrist and a stem cell biologist, and I work at the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences in Bangalore, in India. I've been working with the Psychiatric Genetics Consortium over the last 1 year, and we have set up the IC Magic, which is the India Consortium on Mental Illnesses and Genetics in the clinic. So the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences is the lead center for this effort, and it is the Apex Psychiatry Institute and an institute of national importance in the country. So I worked there for the last 14 years, and I've been lucky to have had great mentors in genetics and in psychiatry. Sanjeev Jain and Meera Purushottam have been my mentors in genetics, and Dr. Reddy, Venkat, and Murli have been my mentors in the clinics, and they continue to be collaborators even in this effort. So the total unique patient load in NIMHANS is around 55,000 a year, and around 20% of them are people with severe mental illnesses. The institute also is a research center and has labs for neuroimaging, for genetics, for stem cell biology. And so I was exposed to all this quite early in my career. So one thing that I learned when I started doing my clinical research is that there are differences between what we find in the clinics in India and what is expected to find from literature from the West. So we do find, of course, similarities are more than differences, but we do find that there are differences. And this one, of course, in bipolar disorder, for example, is a very clear difference that there is a predominant manicose in people from the tropics, especially India. In terms of treatment outcome, there are differences in India, and it has been established that it is true for bipolar disorder. It is definitely established for schizophrenia and for obsessive compulsive disorder. We do find that the outcome is better in India. Even the mortality ratios are lower. So there's some difference that has clearly been established between the clinical phenotypes in India and other parts of the world. Now, there was been a lot of discussion about genetic differences within the population substructures in India. And so this is again something which has been studied in my mentor's lab when I started off. And one example is of common variation or haplotypes around the Huntington locus, which has been examined. And we do find that most of the haplotypes that we find are similar to those which are found in Europe. We do find that for other diseases like Friedreich's ataxia, for example, where it's a GAA repeat expansion, we have studied North Indian populations and South Indian populations. We do find that, of course, the founders are European. And there has been admixture between the North Indian and South Indian population if you age this mutation. And we find that it's around 5,000 years. And so there has been significant admixture quite early in the history of India itself. Now, there has also been studies about common psychiatric disease and human genetic variation. If you look at this graph, we do find that for many of the neurotransmitter related genes, the allele frequencies are intermediate with what is found in other parts of the world. There are differences. We do find here that if you look at the COMT, the val and met alleles, we find that it is the frequency that we find in India is quite different in different parts of the country. And for many places, it is similar to what we find in the Europe. The blue color is the met allele. But in many other places, for example, it is quite different. In some, say for the southern east part of the country, it is very similar to what is found in East Asia. Just giving an example for this. Anyway, this needs further exploration, and that is something we have tried to do with some pilot data that I will try to show. Right. My focus when I came to WCPG last year was on this particular study, which is a study of multiple affected families and not GWAS. So this is the accelerator program for disease in brain using stem cells. And as you can see, the catchment area for NIMHANS is not just South India, and we have been able to sample for this particular study from many other parts of the country. But this study was focused on multiplex families and to characterize them with all kinds of assessments, MRIs, psychophysics, generate induced pluripotent stem cells. So essentially, it's a severely affected cohort with early onset of mental illness. So the plan was to do whole exome sequencing and then identify variants which could be rare and deleterious. And this is what we have been managing to do for, say, families with bipolar disorder or schizophrenia, as we can see here. And then the plan, of course, is to continue and generate neurons and glia and organoids and see how these variants lead to these clinical phenotypes. So it is at this juncture that I landed up at the WCPG 2019. And there I met Jack Hettema, who was a previous mentor in a grant R21 in OCDF in 2011. And he was gracious enough to introduce me to Pat Sullivan and to Manuel. And from there on, I was able to meet and work with a lot of them. In the slide here, Peter Zandi, Arpana, James Walters, Thomas Schulz, Heliang, Naomi Ray recently. And they have been people have been very gracious, and they have done many things for us, including running courses, having journal clubs, having scientific discussions, helping us with grants. So it has been quite nice and interesting to work with this group. The India Consortium on Mental Illness and Genetics in the Clinic has 12 clinical sites, out of which 4 of them are institutes of national importance in the country, 6 mental health institutes, and 6 general psychiatry hospital departments. These are medical and psychiatric training sites, and they also are research centers, a total of 48 psychiatrists, and 6 experts in molecular genetics and biochemistry. As you can see, the centers are spread across the country, and I will go to each center and explain what it is to be in each center. The aim is to become an important contributing agency to growth in the field of psychiatric genomics in diverse populations, and to establish a cadre of researchers that understand and can use the latest methods for generating, processing, analyzing, and interpreting genetic data. Right, so starting off with some of the key centers, the Central Institute of Psychiatry Ranchi is a key partner, and Nishant Goyal, who is a senior psychiatrist, is the lead investigator in this center. As you can see that it's in the northeastern part of the country. It's a 640-bedded psychiatry hospital specific for psychiatry. It's a mental health institute. It has neuroimaging, brain stimulation, biochemistry labs. They have total unique patients per year of around 40,000, of which again 20% are severe mental illnesses. The All India Institute of Medical Sciences is a general medical hospital and is the apex medical institute in the country, and again an institute of national importance. Dr. Rajesh Sagar is the lead investigator, and this is situated in Delhi, which is the national capital region. And they have a total unique patient load of around 40,000, out of which around 10% are severe mental illnesses. Again in Delhi, the Ram Manohar Lohia Institute of Postgraduate Medical Education Research is a general hospital with 1,500 beds, but they also have a psychiatric genetics lab, and they have already published in the field of psychiatric genetics in the past with collaborators in the US. Dr. Lokesh is a lead PI here, and they have a total unique patient load of around 30,000 people, 30,000 patients. Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education Research in Punjab and Haryana is again an institute of national importance. It is one of the top medical institutes in the country and a general medical hospital. They have worked with us previously, and that's again some data that I will show later, but they have again a unique patient load which is similar to that of the All India Institute of Medical Science, around 30,000. King George Medical University is in Uttar Pradesh, again in North India. Dr. Adarsh Tripathi is the lead investigator. It is one of the largest residential medical universities in the country, with 4,500 beds in the general hospital, with around 20,000 psychiatric patients per year. There are 3 institutes in Calcutta: the Calcutta Medical College, which is a general medical hospital and university; the Mental Health Foundation, which is specifically a psychiatry institute; and of course, the National Institute of Biomedical Genomics, which is the national genomics core for the country. So overall, these institutes, the first 2 institutes, which are clinical institutes, they have around 3,000 beds and total unique patients of around 65,000. And the National Genomics Core, a lot of genetic research happens in this institute, not just in psychiatry, but in all other specialties. This is again an institute in the eastern part of the country, in Kolkata. JIPMER, or the Jawaharlal Institute of Postgraduate Medical Education and Research in Pondicherry, is in the south of India, again an institute of national importance and general hospital with a total unique psychiatric patients around 9,000. Dr. Vikas Menon is a lead PI. Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, is a hospital known for its teaching, and again in South India on the west coast. And they have a totally unique patient load of 4,000. Dr. Samir Kumar Praharaj is the lead investigator. Now there are psychiatry-specific institutes. Institute of Mental Health Chennai in South India is one of the oldest and largest mental hospitals in Asia and has 1,800 psychiatry beds. The total unique patient load of 32,000. Dr. Purna Chandrika is the lead investigator from this center. Again, Institute of Mental Health Hyderabad and Visakhapatnam. This again on the south part of India and also on the east coast. These are led by Dr. Uma Shankar and Dr. Himakar, who are the lead PIs, with a total patient load of around 30,000. The bed strength is around 1,000 for the inpatient. Right. So I will now end with some pilot data analysis that we have done using a previous consortia which has had some of these centers as collaborators, which is the Consortium on Vulnerability to Externalizing Disorders and Addictions, or the CVEDA. Dr. Benegal, who is the lead of this particular grant, is also a collaborator in the IC Magic. Now, what we have in this is sampling from more than 9,000 people. These are people where there are other phenotypes which are examined, including exposomes, neurocognition, brain MRIs. Genotyping has been done for 1,000 individuals, and this is the data that I'm planning to show. So what we see with simple principal competence analysis is that this data set, the blue dots represent the samples from India, clearly overlap the SAS population of the 1,000 genomes. We also do find that there is this data is not too far away from the European data set, while it is much farther away from either the African data set or the East Asian data set. If you blow out this area, we do find that it is mostly clustered together well. Of course, there are some outliers, and that is again something that I will discuss in the next slide. Now, Bharat from our group has done this analysis with help from Manuel, and here what he has tried to do is that he has tried to use the location identifiers and the using the genetic data to see where the locations are mapped, and we do find that there is a clean cluster. We do find that there's, so if you can find here that some of these are identified as locations in as corresponding to the Punjab region in Lahore, and these are all actually samples which have been sampled in North India. And then there are samples which are identified as Indian Telugu, which are essentially expectedly sampled in South India. And of course, there are samples which are identified as Bengalis, and this again is from Bangladesh, and then that is again corresponding to the areas from where they have been sampled. And this outlier cohort is essentially from the farthern eastern part of the country, and that is similar to the East Asian population. So in that sense, it is good to see that we are able to map out the map of India using this data set, but then there is significant clustering happening together in the sample set, which tells us that joint analysis should be possible. Now, what we've been able to do over the last 1 year is to put up some proposals with collaborators. So one is the Asian Big Network for Bipolar Disorder, which is supposed to sample 10,000 patients and controls. This is with Heliang in the Broad Institute. I've been able to put up an intermediate fellowship for the Wellcome with lithium cohort with Pat, Peter, and Thomas Schulz. We are now trying to be part of the GenACT grant and the Bipolar Sequencing Consortia. There have been many early career proposals in various stages. Suhas is working on cannabis-induced psychosis with Naomi, Pat, Arpana, and James Walters. Ritika is working on OCD genetics with Manuel, as is Srinivas. Jayant is working on alcoholism. Dhruva is working on treatment-resistant or severe schizophrenia with James. So there's been a lot of initiatives which have been taken up by younger people in this group, and that is something I'm hoping to encourage over the next few years. I will stop with this slide. These are the various posters from the group, including studies on neuroprecursor migration, genetics of alcoholism, whole exome sequencing, minor physical anomalies, Huntington disease, and temperament and family history in alcoholism. Thank you.